Alright everyone, welcome to the channel. So in today's video, like I normally do, we're going to be checking out the JASMY USD pair, see how it's holding up, do some TA on that, and then we're going to go over to a very important chart. We're going to be checking out JASMY versus Bitcoin. I always think it's important to switch things up, look at things from a different perspective. If we are valuing JASMY against the US dollar all the time, then we're missing a very important, we're missing very important bits of information in the market about how it's performing against Bitcoin. So let's jump in, let's start off on the weekly time frame and we will work our way down. Starting off with your EMA ribbons, the EMA ribbons have not loaded in yet. Obviously these are weekly EMA ribbons, they will take their time. I believe we have at least one, maybe two more moving averages before it loads in, but the short-term moving average has loaded in and it's proving to be a strong level of resistance at this moment in time. Looking at your squeeze mon, which is your momentum indicator, you can clearly see we're in a huge bearish wave right now. We are trying to, taper up and keep, and the bulls are trying to take the momentum from the bear's hands, is what I'm trying to say. But what it looks like to me is JASMY is really sitting on its last line of survival, and that is this wick down here. If we capitulate below this big green wick, then in my opinion, we could massively drop in the markets. I think we've got some price targets. I believe the 1.6 is down here. We'll eye that up in just 1 second. But yeah, weekly time frame looks very bearish, and it's hard to see what's going on with the volume on the weekly because there was so much volume that came over in on here on Bittrex that it's hard to see that we're actually getting an exponential increase in bearish volume at this moment in time. But you hop over to the daily and you can really see, like I said, so much volume here. It just makes all this volume flat. But you can really see over the past couple of months, we've been having these phases where we are getting lots more volume coming in. And at this moment in time, it is predominantly, if not pretty much all, bearish volume accumulating to the upside. The fact that we're dropping and the fact that the bearish volume is increasing and increasing basically is a textbook sign that we have further to go. And if we look at the squeeze bomb, it was only recently that we reset the bearish momentum as we had this little bunny hill to the upside. This was a retest of the 4-hourly EMAs, and as it was a rejection, this is going to allow a lot more momentum to the downside once this finally picks back up. The fact that that is paired with this low that we've got down here, just below 1 cent at 0.008, is very indicative to me that it means that once we take out, 0.008, that we're going to absolutely landslide. Sucks to say that. I'm just looking at things objectively. It does look like JASMY is heading down. I jumped out of my JASMY trade a very long time ago, if you remember. I was making JASMY videos all the way around here. We got into a successful trade on JASMY. We took our profits, we got stopped out actually in a profit as the market went sour on us, and since then I've really been looking for an area where I can jump back in on JASMY. But it seems like my perspective on this has changed because it does look like we are heading down. In my opinion, it's very unfortunate. The 1.618 here is actually in the negative, so we wouldn't even be able to run your Fibonacci retracement based on that impulse. But based on this impulse, this is also in the minuses. And then I would not feel comfortable saying that a micro move like this over a couple of days would have any validity. The same here. I wouldn't say that a pump, or rather a dump and a pump followed by a dump over 2 days would have any validity in how the markets react. Anyway, you can see the 1.6 has not been respected. We didn't bounce the 2.618, so it seems like the only fibs that we would have been able to use are invalidated. So it seems like once you do take out this low, we invert the price scale to get things from a fresh perspective. And you can see, let's pretend this is a different crypto. This is JASMY 2.0 or something. This was your previous all-time high. We've come back, we've made a higher low again. We're Wing out. I didn't notice this. This is a great reason why I always say, it seems like a meme, but you put the chart in an inverse scale and you will see things that you did not previously see in the market, because your brain is so used to looking at things one way that you glance over the data, you've looked at it so many times that you don't expect anything to be there. But putting it in an inverse scale definitely helps. Now obviously I'm not going to extrapolate this price target. The price target would be in the minus 20 cents or so. It would be, you know what, screw it, let's just do it just for the sake of it, just for the jokes. but obviously it wouldn't be valid. This would be taking us to minus 31 cent, which is, like I said, have to emphasize this enough so the trolls don't throw rocks through my window, but this is not going to be happening. We're not going to be going into the minuses, so don't worry about that. But looking at this on an inverse chart, I did not notice that this is basically just a huge M with a very dead cat bounce here. And even if you don't want to consider this to be an M, which it is still a valid M even if this part is very bullish, it simply means that we ran out of momentum for this bounce, which is kind of worrying because, you know, if we do take out this low, we're going to massively capitulate into price discovery to the downside. It sucks, but there's literally no price target that I can give you to the downside. Like I said, all your fibs are invalidated, and I could draw a trend line, but it does seem like pretty much every trend line we would have at this point would be broken once you break below this line. So there is no floor. This was your flat line, the horizontal resistance here. This was your trend line from the lows. You can see there is no more trend lines. There's nothing left. And you could do something like this and extrapolate, but even then, I do not think that we're just going to bounce on this for the next couple of months or so. I think it's do or die at this moment in time, and I do think JASMY is going to be heading down to lower price targets. I hate being bearish, I just have to call it how it is. I'm a straight shooter, but you know, looking at this, bearish momentum is clearly here. Bears are in control. It looks like they're taking a break on the momentum right now. The last time we took a break on the momentum, we were coming back in here. The last time before that, we were coming in here. The last time before that, we were here. And as you can see, all of these momentum shifts on the 4 hourly are simply just retests, and this lack of bearish volume right now is simply just another rejection from a lower price target of the EMA ribbon. So JASMY against the USD, it seems very obvious and clear cut in my opinion that we are bearish. It does suck, we're in a huge M pattern. This is the floor. Once we take out that 0.008, that is it. There's no more price targets, no more moving averages, no more EMA ribbons, even though EMA ribbons are just moving averages anyway, but there's nothing. There's no Fibonacci extensions. Like I said, this price target is in the minuses, this price target is in the minuses, and also, you know, we've already taken out the 1.6, like I said, 2.6 is in the minuses, and I would not feel that there's any validity in drawing something like this. It clearly is such a dinky impulse, and we clearly have not respected the fib, the micro fib, so there's no point in even talking about it. But daily time frame, red green red formation, typically whenever we do these red green reds, it always ends up in a capitulation. Red green red capitulation, red green red capitulation, red green red capitulation. Now we've got another red green red. I do expect that JASMY is going to be dumping into next week. Now, as I promised at the start of the video, I do want to provide an alternate perspective, and for that we're going to be looking at the JASMY BTC pair. Now, it's quite annoying we do not have the biggest plethora of data, and before we do jump into one more chart, if you do want to follow me over on Twitter, I promise this was not planned, but you can find me over here at 618_cowboy if you did want to find me over there. So CoinMarketCap, let's head over to CoinMarketCap and let's find, if we type in CoinMarketCap JASMY BTC, and then here we go, JASMY to BTC, we'll have a greater view of the macro chart, because unfortunately on TradingView we only have this. There is no other JASMY BTC chart, or at least there's two, Bitfinex and Binance, and I've looked at both of them. You know, Binance is pretty much the same as the other one, so removing the Binance one, looking at Bitfinex, we're very clearly in a huge downtrend, JASMY against Bitcoin. I don't even need to do any analysis on this, just look at this. This was your low, it looks like we're about to capitulate below this low. This is your last line of support. Also, JASMY BTC is just filled with a plethora of M patterns. I can see multiple M's all over the chart. Really not good. It's very indicative that we are going to break lower. there is a plethora of selling volume. Volume predicts price. As you can see, when we were dumping into here, we knew that we were going to keep dumping because the volume kept on increasing. When did we know that the dump was over in the short term? We knew it was over when we had 2 weeks of bullish volume. This allowed us to carry up. We ran out of bullish volume, bearish volume came back. Now bearish volume is reaccumulating to the upside. This is indicative that we're about to roll down and massively capitulate on the JASMY BTC pair. And I always think it's interesting to value, look at the price rather of JASMY or any altcoin against the BTC pair, because I understand you buy altcoins, you buy any altcoins because you're hoping they have a higher return than Bitcoin. You know, you're taking on a ton of extra risk. It's called risk to reward ratio. You're taking on a higher risk to reward ratio because you want to have a higher reward if the markets turn out in your favor. But that only works if, one, you're in a bull market, or two, if your altcoin is outperforming Bitcoin, whether it's in a bull market or a bear market. And typically altcoins do not outperform Bitcoin in a bear market. I do believe, looking at Bitcoin, what it is doing right now is very, very similar to what happened in 2017. And it looks like this first wick that we've got coming down right now that is being bought back up. You can see we've got a big wick to the downside being bought up. It reminds me exactly of what happened in 2017. In my opinion, if Bitcoin closes a weekly candle below 29,000, that is going to be the nail in the coffin. You are going to be saying goodbye and goodnight to your altcoins. They are going to completely capitulate against Bitcoin. If Bitcoin starts breaking down, you know, Bitcoin could come down 20, 25%. You're going to see your altcoins go down 80, 90, 99%. We've already seen it. We're already witnessing it. All these altcoins in the past couple of weeks, like I said, I've been tweeting about it on Twitter. So if you want to follow me on Twitter at 618_cowboy, I've been talking about it in the Discord as well. But I've been saying these altcoins are going to massively capitulate against Bitcoin. That is what I think is going to be happening. I hope you enjoyed this video. I do love giving a different perspective on the markets. I always feel like, you know, you watch one YouTuber too much, or you look at one chart too much, and you get stuck in the same way of looking at the altcoin pairs. And I'm guilty of this as well. I don't look at the BTC pairs for altcoins enough as I should do, and that's going to be something that's going to be changing on my channel soon. I love going against the grain. I love innovating and looking at things different than other YouTubers do. I love providing different perspectives that YouTubers do not provide. I love, you know, making altcoin videos and talking about how the dollar and the stock market correlate to what is going on in these altcoin markets. I think that, you know, people who look at one chart are missing the bigger picture of what's going on in these markets, because you could be the best TA analysis in the entire world. If you only look at JASMY versus the US dollar, then you're going to miss out. You're going to not realize that the altcoins are going to capitulate, because when the dollar starts rallying, it's going to rally and the altcoins are going to capitulate after. So, you know, you do get, you know, more of an idea of what's going on in the general markets. If you look at altcoin USD pairs, if you look at altcoin BTC pairs, if you look at how the dollar and the stock market and the total market cap correlates to these assets, very important. This is why I love going against the grain on my channel. I love doing things my way. I love, like I said, going against the grain, doing things different, providing a different perspective than what you're probably used to. So I love making this video. If you do like this content, please give me a like and a comment down below. That's the best way to let me know that you want to keep on seeing these different perspectives on the market. Hope you found some value in this content. As always, Cowboy out. Peace.